We're going to the New Living Expo, and San Francisco is a very, very interesting city. And what I didn't know at the time, and what I started seeing as we were driving through San Francisco back to where they lived, was all these homeless people. I mean, at night on the streets, and you're like, there's one, yeah, well, there's another one. They have 37,000 homeless people on the streets of San Francisco. Now, out of a huge population in a city like that, maybe that's not a big figure. Next slide, please, Bill. But when they're all on one or two streets in the same part of San Francisco, it starts to get a little bit concerning. So you have a few of them. Why lie? I want to be a homeless Bill needs a rich woman. Well, you know, going to get an amen to that. Well, and here they all are on the same street. Now, what they don't tell you is that most of them are on the same few streets. Now, I was there, me being, British, and so after the expo, I went out for a stroll, go and see some sights in San Francisco. Going along, wallet in my pocket, $1,000 down the pants, in my wallet. And I'm like, walking down the street, and I start looking around, and there's all the homeless people. And all of a sudden, you realize every single human being you're walking past on that street is homeless and desperate. Oh, my word, people, that was a little bit of a reality check for yours truly. Now, I was a frontline manager for Job Centre Plus many years ago, so I am used to dealing with people in desperate situations. But that is not Britain, And what really shocked me the most was that, like this poor guy here, the high percentage of them are in wheelchairs, And this is the real human situation. So while everyone's at the, New Living Expo going, oh my gosh, we create our own reality, isn't it yummy? It's like, great. What about these guys? And they're a block away, living in their own shit on the streets. Veterans who have fought for America. You, me, everybody else. This is one of the things to get real. There but for the grace of God, folks. These are human beings. These are us. And the people walk past them and they ignore them. And I went up to Grace Cathedral to walk the labyrinth up there. And I met a nice young German guy, been traveling around the world, and he'd ended up in America last of all, which confused him as much as me. And he said, yeah, didn't that freak you out, the amount of people in wheelchairs? And he said, you would not see this in Germany. And I said, I don't think you'd see it in Britain. And he said, a friend of his who was a tutor in university said, you can say no to them, but you must never ignore them. Because if you ignore them, you are denying that they even exist as a human being. And that is a crime. People don't like you to say rude words, but I think that's an obscenity. You start ignoring human beings, what do they become? Nothing. And when you're nothing, you've got nothing. No one protects you. You're out the game, aren't you? Do you ever want to be in that space? How many people are being made unemployment in this country right now? How many people have their homes repossessed right now? Do you think we're going to see things like that on our streets? Are you willing to accept the possibility that we're going to see things like that on our streets? Say again? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So this to me, was a real... I thought it was obscene. When I was going around, and people would ask me for money, I'd be like, yeah, here's $1, making sure I didn't show them that I had $1,000 in my pocket. But it was quite something. I just realized this is not my reality. This is someone's reality, but I'm seeing this for a reason. And I have great compassion for these people, and I'll show you something now which was to me, the most moving and most shocking thing. Most of these people, now it comes down to where most of these people are actually congregated in the few streets in a certain few square miles or square mile. They are concentrated around the United Nations Plaza. Now, I went there, and this is when I first started really noticing so many of them. And it's a very beautiful place, lots of fountains and sculptures. There's even a homeless person asleep on one of them, so it's the real deal. What really drew me to it, and this isn't anybody I know, it's a photo from the internet. I just had to find you a photograph of this. Does anybody know what that is? No? Yes, thank you, that man over there. This is the inscribed Declaration of Human Rights as adopted by the United Nations, people. And it's there inscribed of thousands of homeless, desperate people. Have you ever read it? Do you know what this thing says? Because I wrote this down and I was in tears just writing it. Phil? Now there's 30 articles and I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm going to pick out some of them for you, but I want you to get a feeling for this. Article 1, all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. They are endowed with reason and conscience and should act towards one another in a spirit of brotherhood. Everyone is entitled to all the rights and freedoms set forth in this declaration without distinction of any kind, such as race, colour, sex, language, religion, political or other opinion, national or social origin, property, birth or other status. Furthermore, no distinction shall be made on the basis of political, jurisdictional or international status of the country or territory to which a person belongs, whether it be independent, trust, non-self-governing or under any other limitation of sovereignty. Article 3, everyone has the right to life, liberty and security of person. No one shall be held in slavery or servitude. Slavery and the slave trade shall be prohibited in all their forms. No one shall be subjected to torture or cruel, inhuman or degrading treatment or punishment. No one shall be subjected to arbitrary arrest, detention or exile. Everyone charged with a penal offence has the right to be presumed innocent until proved guilty according to law in a public trial, at which he has all the guarantees necessary for his defence. No one shall be held guilty of any penal offence on account of any act or omission which did not constitute a penal offence under national or international law at the time when it was committed, nor shall a heavier penalty be imposed than the one that was applicable at the time the penal offence was committed. Everyone has the right to freedom of movement and residence within the borders of each state. Everyone has the right to leave any country, including their own, thank God, and to return to their country. Everyone has the right to freedom of thought, conscience and religion. This right includes freedom to change his religion or belief, and freedom, either alone or in community with others and in public or in private, to manifest his religion or belief in teaching, practice, worship and observance. Everyone has the right to freedom of opinion and expression. This right includes freedom to hold opinions without interference and to seek, receive and impart information and ideas through any media, regardless of frontiers. Everyone has the right to freedom of peaceful assembly and association. Article 30, the final article, and it's a long declaration, but they are pretty specific about this, and I'm glad that they are, because I think that there's some arseholes out there need taking to task over this. They signed the declaration, all right? Heads of state signed this declaration. The countries of the world signed this declaration. What are they going to say? Oh, I was pissed at the time, sorry. Oh no, that wasn't me, it's some fella that looks like me, innit? Come on. Nothing in this declaration may be interpreted as implying for any state, group or person any right to engage in any activity or to perform any act aimed at the destruction of any of the rights and freedoms set forth herein. Do you see anything happening like that around our planet today? I think there's quite a lot of this document's been abandoned. So how many people here were at the British Constitution group meeting, conference in Stoke? Yeah, enough of us. Interestingly enough, aren't we seeing the same thing? This is just a bigger picture. That we do have rights under international law, under human law. And it comes down to what we're going to do about it, doesn't it? Do you agree? Yes. You know, this is all information. I'm not here as an information broker. I'll get onto that in a minute. But I wanted to include this because to me, that was just an incredible irony. There I was, standing writing down that thing, thinking, where are all these people coming from? And then I start seeing a little park, you know, up the way from me, just full of tents and sleeping bags, and thinking, holy shit. Here I am, reading one of the most moving things I could possibly ever read on this planet, and I'm surrounded by the people that it's failed.